Oh, there you are, YouTube. Episodes 3, 4, and 5 of Loki on Disney Plus has been watched. I watched those 3 episodes today. And let's see, 3 and 4, one of them, I don't know, both of those kind of blend together for me, but one of them just felt like a filler episode. Was that the first one or was that the second one? I don't know. There was just a lot of exposition, dialogue. Some of it, I mean, I'm sure it's going to come into play later. Some of it did come into play, but not everything just seemed necessary for the length of the episode. Maybe they were shorter episodes, but it just, I don't know, kind of, they felt a little filler. We were getting information, but they just weren't that exciting, I guess. And plus, the desaturation, those dark, muddy colors are very difficult to watch, I think. I know that's a nitpick, but still. And I don't know, it just kind of made for a slog, I guess, those episodes 3 and 4. Is that the right word? Kind of just like we're trudging through here, just waiting. When are we going to get to something? And when do we get to something? We get to something in episode 5. Things get a little bit more interesting. Actually, the end of 4, things are coming back to me now. The end of 4, things get interesting with the timekeepers. I don't know if I'm going to give anything away. It's possible that I do, so spoilers question mark, I don't know. Yes, let me just give this away now. At the end of the 4th one, we find out that the timekeepers are just like robots, essentially. Maybe run by an algorithm, maybe not. But who, if so, who created them, right? Who created these algorithms? Was it Stan Lee? Was it Stan Lee? Are we going to eventually find out that Stan Lee is in charge of all this? I hope it gets there. I hope it gets to that point that we find out that Stan Lee is in charge of all of this. I think that could be very cool, very fun, and I'm pretty sure when I was doing like research on the comics, trying to understand like who is their god, I guess, I think I remember like a Stan Lee like god in the comics. So maybe that is something that will happen later. That's just speculation. I don't know. But that could be cool. I think that person was called maybe the one above everything or something like that, or the man, or I can't remember now. It's been so long since I've researched this, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, let me know if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the imagery for that character that I am speculating may be in charge of everything looked a little bit like Stan Lee. Like, wasn't Stan Lee, but clearly inspired. And I think maybe the man above all, the man above everything, that sounds familiar to me. But I don't know. In episode 5, basically, Loki, his new companion, what's her name? She has like a new name. She doesn't want to go by Loki. I can't remember. Let's just call her Loki. They get sent along, and Owen Wilson too. They all get sent to like the end of time, basically. And there are a lot of Lokis there because these Lokis are always branching off new timelines. So they're like, okay, we gotta prune them and send them to the end of time. So there are a lot of Lokis. I think Owen Wilson said, you throw a rock, you're gonna hit a Loki. So many different types of Lokis. Richard E. Grant plays the one that is very reminiscent of the Loki that we see in the comic books. We have an alligator Loki. Yes, a Loki that is an alligator. Maybe it's a crocodile. No, I'm pretty sure it's an alligator. And we have like kids. We have one that looks like he's running for president or something. One that has like pipe horns, all sorts of different ones. One that has a Thor or a hammer like Thor, and lots of like fur and stuff that he's wearing. Looks pretty awesome. And it's funny because they, they're mischievous. They can't trust one another. They're always betraying one another. So they try and create these like these groups, I guess, but they all turn on one another. Most of them, not all of them, because we have the loyal alligator, we have the loyal Richard E. Grant, we have the loyal like kid version, and the Loki that we know, and the girl Loki, all of them are sort of, working together and loyal to one another, which is really cool to see them all working together. And Owen Wilson's in the band, basically, which is kind of cool. And it's just a nice thing to see all these different versions of Loki in a single spot. But they are trapped at the end of time, right? And then there's this like smoke monster, similar to Lost. Maybe the Day the Earth Stood Still, the Keanu version. There are other things. Maybe, I don't know, like those really bad Fantastic Four movies. This cloud though is pretty cool. I like the way it's being handled. And basically they need to, he is like, this cloud is like fighting them, and he's like, no, you're gonna stay here, I'm gonna kill you, you can't leave. And Sylvie, that's it, Sylvie is girl Loki, says, I think I can enchant him, and then I think we can find out who's in charge of all of this timeline stuff, because I don't think it's the Timekeepers. We know it's not the Timekeepers. Somebody's in charge. And they do, and they successfully do, and then the episode ends, so we have to wait to see basically what's behind this giant cloud monster that was handled pretty well, especially when you compare it to other cloud monsters in other films and television shows and things like that. But basically, I'm just trying to say this show has moved pretty slowly, but it has really picked up at the end of 4 and all of 5, I would say. 5 was very exciting. Love Richard E. Grant. He does some cool stuff in this episode, and the alligator is a lot of fun. And the alligator has a Captain Hook croc moment, which was pretty cool, so look out for that. Yeah, a lot of little Easter eggs in it as well. Some I found online, didn't catch them on my own, like Frog Thor, Thor Frog, or whatever. I don't know. But I think this show is moving slow. Some people said that about WandaVision. I guess you could say that about WandaVision. But WandaVision, what it was doing with those early episodes were really interesting. I feel like art films, in a way. Like art episodes. And that wasn't the sort of thing that was happening in the beginning of Loki. So to me, I don't see WandaVision as a slow show. I see it as doing interesting, unique Vanguard for Disney sort of things. Vanguard? Avant-garde? Things for Disney. And this show, I do feel like, is a slow burn, and you should be prepared for it. I think a lot of people really like Loki, so they are, going to go in for the long haul. I don't really care about Loki that much until episode 5 of this season, or this show. I'm kind of like, okay, I like this guy. There were a lot of cute moments with him. Wonderful moments of him becoming a good person. And I know we've seen that in some of the movies too. But here, I thought it was, I thought it was, I don't know, it was cute. It was nice seeing it on like a television scale. So I care about Loki more now than I ever have watching him in any of the movies. So I think that is a good thing that this show has pulled off, even though I do feel like it moves incredibly slow and maybe not as interesting of a way that I think WandaVision did. But, the effects I think are better than anything that WandaVision had. But at the same time, with what WandaVision was trying to do, the effects I think sort of matched the tone. So, I don't know. That really, they're not comparable. But, yeah. 3 and 4. 3 felt like filler, I think. Again, I'm mixing a lot of those together. But the end of 4 was good. And then 5 all the way through was good. And I'm excited to see the next episode. Wow. This went pretty long. So, I guess on that note, perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.